Need a space heater. Sure.
All right, guys, here we are for our first Tuesday press conference of the season. Got Coach Monken here, and we'll start with an opening statement, but then I also want to talk about the way we will take questions. You guys can all send me a text message that you have a question, and I will prompt you to give your question via the teleconference, and then that will come through on the Facebook Live. And with that, we will start with Coach Monken's statement.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here talking about playing football this weekend, just 4 days from now. Great thanks to our superintendent, Lieutenant General Darrell Williams, our athletic director, Mike Buddy, Bob Beretta, who had such an important role in developing a schedule for us for this year, and the entire academy, just creating an environment, the bubble, as people are calling it all over the world, their protective bubble, but what this academy has created for this team to give us an opportunity to be able to operate and be healthy and have a chance to play college football. Can you turn that down?
First question will be from Rich DeMarco.
Hey, Coach. Rich from Army Radio. Just a question about, the preparation that's gone into a year like this. How much different do you feel this Tuesday than you would in a normal first week, game week? Is it the same? What are the differences?
I think it feels the same. We're excited about playing. We've been preparing like we have in the past. There's a lot of different protocols that are in place for us in terms of our daily operations. But once we hit the practice field and really what we're doing to prepare our players is very much like a normal season has been. So it's nice for all of us to just feel that sense of normalcy.
What's been the reaction from your cadet athletes throughout camp about having to go through the precautions that you're talking about, the different safety measures? What's been their feedback to you?
Probably like everybody. It's a little bit of a pain in the rear end to have to do all that stuff, but that's what we've got to do. It's the world we live in right now. So we can say no and buck the system and say, we're not going to wear masks. I'm not going to wash my hands and come up with all these reasons why we shouldn't or why we won't. But it's foolish to do that. What the wise thing is to follow the protocols that they put in place, and I think it's because of the vigilance that we've had in creating an environment where our guys can stay healthy and they do the things to give themselves the best chance to stay healthy, that we've made it this far, and again, being four days from the game, and we've had a healthy football team.
Great, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Next question will be from Charles. Okay, we'll go to Ken Kreitzer.
This is Charles Briggs of GoBlackKnights.com. Good afternoon, Coach.
Hi, Charles.
In our previous conversation last week, you indicated that Christian Anderson was atop the depth chart at quarterback and that you were continuing to bring Jabari along slowly coming off his 2019 season and ending injury, but you were also impressed with the progress of freshman quarterback Christian Parrish. My question is, can you talk about, come Saturday, who will be your number 1 and 2 guys at quarterback, please?
I think it'll be just like you've kind of listed it there. Jamel Jones is the number 3 quarterback with the 2 veteran guys in front of him. Christian Parrish, we're really impressed with as a freshman. He's got a different skill set than the rest of those guys. Very physical runner, played in our prep school program a year ago and did a really good job as a quarterback there. So it's difficult, I think, to be a freshman and to be the starting quarterback or to be in there and making those decisions like a veteran does. But we want to bring him along. So there'll be a role for him, and just not sure exactly what that's going to look like yet. We still got a few days of practice left, and we're going to try to figure out what we think he can do and the role we can put him in to help our team.
And another question from Charles.
Yes, my final question, Coach, is about the wide receivers. I'm starting with Isaiah Alston, the freshman. Does his unique talents at receiver, along with the veteran talents of a guy like Cam Harrison, change any of the dynamics that we typically have seen in the Army's run-dominated offense?
I think Isaiah is a really gifted player, really gifted receiver, and we certainly have recognized that as he's gone through camp with us. I don't know that it's going to change the philosophy of what we do, but certainly he's a guy we'd like to give an opportunity to catch the ball and put the ball in play for him. I think he's got the ability to go get it. It's a matter of working out those opportunities for him within the framework of the offense. We're going to do what we do and try to run the ball effectively, control the ball, and then when we have opportunities, we try to make a big play, and I think he's got the ability to do that. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm really excited he's in our program. He's a great team guy, and I think he's going to have a really good future here.
Next question from Ken Kreitzer, Sons of the American Legion.
Oh, good afternoon, Coach. Great to have the season starting this week. You had a couple of new names on the depth chart, which came out this morning. Connor Bishop at center on offense, Jake Lauer at tight end, Isaiah Alston at wide receiver. Maybe you could take us through some of the young players or seniors that are going to take starting roles on offense so far this year.
Connor was an offensive guard, and we just felt like was playing really well in preseason camp early on. He played a little bit with the veteran group last year, late in the season, and didn't get a lot of playing time, but had practiced with us quite a bit up with the travel squad, and impressed us enough that we knew he was going to be a guy that factored in, and just felt like at this point he's one of our 5 best offensive linemen, and we wanted to get those guys on the field, and it really made sense for him to be the center with the guys that we've got. Peyton Reeder played center. He's obviously had some injury issues and those kinds of things, and I think he felt really comfortable playing guard, which he had the year before, and so we felt like just that lineup and teaching Connor to play center was going to be the best for us. He's got obviously some growing to do at that position. He's not played that position before, but we're excited about him. Jake Lauer's a veteran player, hasn't had a lot of experience, but he's a big athletic guy, and I think gives us a really good chance to be successful at the tight end position. He's built like a long offensive tackle, and we like those guys at tight end positions. We're not a traditional offense where the guy has to be our leading receiver or anything like that. He's got to be a really tough, athletic, strong blocker, and we think Jake can do that for us. But there's some other guys at that position, Shane Buckingham, Chris Cameron, that I think are going to be guys that we can count on as well. And then Isaiah Alston is obviously a freshman, and he's one of a few freshmen on the offensive side that we've been really impressed with and excited about and intend to use to help the offense go.
And Coach, you've got some young players on your defense, especially Julianne McDuffie, Markel Broughton, Cedric Cunningham, and a weak inside linebacker, John Radigan, who is a senior but is at the top of the depth chart. Could you tell us about some of kind of the new faces, new leadership on the defense?
All those guys have been in the program and have grown up with us at least the last couple of years. Mark Hell being the youngest of those guys, but he's probably as strong a leader as we have. He just got a great pulse of the team, and our guys have tremendous respect for him. He's a good player. Cedric Cunningham has just come along since day one, and his first days in camp as a freshman, he had an injured hand, and that really kind of held him back. But I think he's just steadily improved over the time he's been here, and he's been doing a great job with leadership on the back end, and I'm really excited about him. John Radigan, been a terrific special teams guy for us, and I'm happy for him and proud to see him earning the starting position as a senior. And then Julian McDuffie, he might be our fastest player, and he's got a lot of ability, and I'm excited to see him in a role where he's really going to affect the game for us.
And Coach, final question. Just want to ask, we talked a little bit about this on Saturday. You've been talking to the players about issues going on in the world, health, safety, justice. Anything you can share on what the players might be thinking on those key subjects?
I'm proud of our team, and certainly all of those things that are going on in our world right now and affect us right here at home at West Point. Our guys are deeply involved in those movements and the conversations that surround all of the things that are happening in our country and in our world right now, and their place as leaders, as future leaders in the United States Army, and how they right now can affect positive change, what they can do to make this country and this world a better place, and starting with right here on our campus, in our locker room with the group of guys we have here on this team, and then the Corps of Cadets. So we've had active discussions going on about all those things since early last spring, and there's been things that have gone on that have sparked those conversations. We've continued those through the summer and preseason camp, and Ken, I can't tell you how proud I am of this team and just how impressive the young men are that are part of this organization, and the intellect and the mature thought that goes into their conversations.
Thank you, Coach.
And then I guess I have the next question here from Ken McMillan. Why Christian Anderson, and what has he shown you this far?
Can you repeat that?
So why Christian Anderson as the number one quarterback over Jabari, and what has he shown you thus far?
Well, Christian is a guy that has grown up in our program. He's spent a lot of time in our offense, and has experience playing in games, starting games, and has grown physically as much as anybody over this offseason. He's gone from a guy that was a really thin, underdeveloped high school player when he got here. He's 194 pounds and a much more physical player than he's ever been. So we're excited about him. He brings a lot to the offense and some versatility that we're excited about.
Do we have another question from Ken McMillan? Any other questions for Coach?
Hello, Rachel?
Yes.
Yes. On the defensive side of the ball, you have 7 new starters. How concerned are you with that, given that you've got a new coordinator and new system?
If we had 11 guys back on defense with a new coordinator, there's going to be concern. Anytime it's a new system and new terminology, that's an adjustment for sure. But we've got some guys on that defense, though some of them may have never started a football game on defense. they've got a lot of experience playing, and they've been in football games before, and they've been working really hard, as our staff has, to get our defense ready. And I'm confident that we're going to have a defense that's prepared and ready to compete on Saturday. And whether it will be the same version of the defensive playbook that will be in 12 weeks from now or a year from now, that's probably not the case. But I think our guys are going to play really hard, and we're going to try to play physical and fast and try to make plays just by doing our job. Whatever Coach Woody calls, it will be something that we feel confident our guys can execute. So at least from the standpoint of their assignment and what we do physically, that has a lot to do with Middle Tennessee State too. They're gonna have guys that are gonna be fighting their butts off to block us, and we're gonna have to do our best to play good fundamental football and try to beat some blocks and make tackles.
Can you give us your take on Middle Tennessee and what to expect on Saturday?
I think they're a really good football team. Rick Stockstill's been there. He's going on his 15th season. In 14 years, they've been bowl eligible 10 times. They got a 1,000-yard rushing quarterback who has the capability of being one of the top passers in the country. He's really a terrific player and a great leader, very mature kid. I listened to him on their press conference from earlier this week. He's a very impressive young man and has had a great career already. They're loaded with athletes, guys that can run. We watched them in every one of their games a year ago. They've got guys coming back that we're certainly really impressed with, and Rick he does a great job each year of taking that team that he's got. He has sometimes new coaches and sometimes young players or transfer players, and he puts a team together that is just an outstanding football team. He's a terrific football coach, well respected in our profession, and Middle Tennessee's a team that has won a lot of football games and knows how to win. So they're gonna present a real challenge for us because of their athleticism and the established staff that they have. Coach Franklin, their offensive coordinator, Coach Schaefer, their defensive coordinator. They're not in their first go around with them, so they've got established systems that I know they're going to be very efficient and very well prepared.
Next question from Charles Grievous.
Coach, needless to say, this is a somewhat surreal moment on Saturday where typically Michie Stadium, particularly for our opening game, will be packed, and players obviously feed off the vibes of the home crowd. But that will not be the case on Saturday for the most part, which is something similar to the NBA playoffs where they've had to deal with. Is there anything specific that you say to the players or will say to the players when it comes to playing an opponent in a less than full Michie Stadium?
We never control the crowd anyway, so I don't talk much about the crowd. And I don't know what the weather will be Saturday, but we can't control that either. And we don't control Middle Tennessee State. We don't control the officials. What we control is our attitude and effort, and we're going to try to do the very best we can to be as close to 100% on those two things. So we'd love to have a big crowd here, but that's not the case, and that's not going to be the case all year in any stadium for any school. There's a lot of other colleges playing at least the first game without any fans. We're fortunate we're going to have the Corps of Cadets, our student body here, and I know they'll be excited and charged up to have an opportunity to be in the stadium and cheer for their classmates and teammates. So we're looking forward to the opportunity regardless of whether there's fans there or not. And really, my hope is that whether we're in a stadium with 4,000 cadets or 104,000 people, that our attitude and effort will be the same, and our execution of our assignments and fundamentals will be the same, because that's what wins games, is the execution of those things.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Next question from Ken McMillan.
Jeff, you've been around the game for a long time. So what are the typical problems for a game one of any season? And how have you done, what things have you done to combat that?
Typical concerns for the first game are just, I think, every coach going to sleep the night before the game and feeling like, or questioning, are we prepared? Have we done everything we needed to do at this point to be prepared for what may come up in the first game? There's some new players, guys that have never started before, guys with not a whole lot of experience, and really maybe the uncertainty of what they'll do in the game and how they'll perform. So I don't know that mine are any different than anybody else's, and we're going to find out a lot on Saturday about this team and how well prepared we are.
Coach Woody told me last week that your scrimmage was held as a means to practice an actual game. So in that regard, do you feel as though your players are ready and have learned how you guys are going to run things?
We're more ready today than we were last Tuesday, but not as ready as I hope we'll be this Saturday. We still practice this afternoon and tomorrow, and we'll have workouts on Thursday and Friday to prepare and be ready, and hopefully that'll be enough. We'll find out.
And if I can ask one more, you have a freshman, Isaiah Alston, at wide receiver, listed as a number 1 right now. I know things can change, but what's impressed you about him being the lone freshman who can make the starting lineup?
He's just a very gifted receiver. When the ball gets in his area, he's got a great chance to come down with it. He's athletic and has done a really good job in the run game with blocking and those kinds of things. There's still a lot of things he's going to get better at, that he can do better, and hopefully will improve on this week and improve on through the season and throughout his career. But just has really impressed us with his athleticism and his ability to make a play on the ball.
Thank you.
Last question from Ken Kreitzer.
Coach, I just would like to ask a little bit about your senior defensive captain, Amadeo West. He's coming back from an injury. Coach Woody says everybody listens to him. He's a great leader. Everyone sees the high potential that he has. How do you feel he's set going into the season?
He's one of the best leaders I've ever been around coming out of a locker room, and we've had some really strong leaders, and he's been fortunate to I think, be reared by guys like Andrew King and John Voight and Bryce Holland, and see how they led our team and led the locker room. And he's just an incredibly positive leader. He's got the respect of everybody in this program, and as well as at West Point, he's just so well respected in the Corps by his classmates, professors, the officers here on campus. Just a dynamic kid, and he's been through a lot, and I think that's probably one of the reasons that everybody respects him so much is going through really 3 season-ending injuries and continuing to come back with a great attitude and a great effort, and just his commitment not only to this team but to becoming an officer and a leader of character.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys, for participating, and thanks, Coach Monken.
Have a great day, everybody.